Yo, 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 what's that word? 32 Inning Podcast, episode 53, the big 5-3. We're gonna
So
be NFL draft specific tonight. The previous one that just passed on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So any of y'all fans of y'all teams and organizations, hear our commentary. Tell us what y'all think in the comments below about the things we're going to discuss as far as the draft. I always do this, so I ask how you doing today, Byron?
oh man, doing good, doing good. Been a day off, so relaxing. How about yourself?
Doing good, man. I'm currently at the job, but I'm relaxing too. So
Hey,
without further ado, first segment we're gonna go over is steals and busts from each round. We can go back and forth on that. Again, y'all get in the comments. Let us know who y'all thought was a steal or bust, potential bust from each round. So I ask you first, Byron, who you think was a steal of the first round of the NFL draft?
deal of the first round. I would say the Lions. The Lions picked up a dog and Terrion Arnold, DB from Alabama. He's just personifies what Dan Campbell was trying to do with the Lions culture now, bringing them over, pushing them over that edge to see if they can make it an even deeper run in the playoffs this year. He's a DB that's going to change the game for them. He had 63 tackles, 5 picks, 12 deflections in his last season with Alabama. Bring that those traits to the NFL, man. I think he's going to be a dog, and he's going to be a high name in to come.
Sure. For my steal, I had Troy Fautanu, tackle from Washington, great pass blocker. Exactly what the Steelers need. We know they had trouble on their offensive line for the past few years, and picking up a guy who I had as the second or third ranked tackle in this entire draft at pick number 20 is great value. I don't know if they're going to put him on the right side and keep Brodrick Jones on the left, or put Brodrick Jones on the left side, maybe even playing him at left guard. But they have two young cornerstones that are ultra talented now that they can be interchangeable on that offensive line, and they needed that variety and overall talent level to pick up for the Steelers. So I got Troy Fautanu. On the flip side, who would you have as a bust in the first round, or
Bust as a
potential bust,
first.
I should say, potential
Yeah,
bust?
there we go. We're gonna say that potential bust. Not all these guys might not hit, might hit. We don't know. We just guessing. A lot of the film that we watched, a lot of the just highlights we went over, and just watching their combine. A lot of these guys, in particular, this gentleman here named Ricky, I believe his name is Parcell. Uh,
Pearsall.
Pearsall. There you go. Ricky Pearsall, wide receiver out of Florida. He did his thing in Florida. Really great wide receiver. I believe he owns a lot of their records there, a lot of great stats. Watching a lot of his film, he doesn't really run a lot of great routes. He has smaller hands. Not really. He's a decent sized receiver, but when you get into that next level and playing for the 49ers, he's going to be behind, assuming they bought re-up on all their contracts with their two main guys in Debo Samuels and Brandon Ayuk. He would be pretty low on this depth chart. Many, very few reps that he's going to get, and not many opportunities to show what he really can do. And with many opportunities that he can, I don't really think he's going to be able to show all of his talent, and he's going to be riding that pine.
Hey man, you know, hey, hey, I like Ricky Pearsall, even though he's with the Ops. I like Ricky Pearsall. I actually think his biggest trait is his route running. He made some big catches, but I get what you're saying. He's not going to be number one or number two. He's going to have to battle a couple guys in the slot. But they did take him in the first round, so he's incentivized to play. I just think at the NFL level, he's going to have to be much more physical, even though he
Mm-hmm.
is coming from that SEC background. My bust potential bust that in the first round is Darius Robinson, D tackle from Missouri. Cardinals picked at 27. Um, I just think there's a lot of question marks about what is his position. He wasn't dominant in his first and second year at Missouri at defensive tackle. Really came on this year as a defensive end. but he's 6'5", 285. That's not going to work at end in the NFL besides what he's known to do, which is bull rush and stuff like that. The tackles at this level are much more better, much more complete in their technique, won't be as overwhelmed by the strength, and I'm not sure he has the speed to continually set that edge versus the run. So to me, is a potential bust. I think there was a few better players on the board at that time, but we're going to see how that works out and ultimately what they're going to do with him scheme wise. Um, Moving on to the second round, who do you have as a steal for round number two?
Um, Still as number two in round two, the Saints with the number 41 pick, picking up Kool-Aid, a DB, opposite of Terrion Arnold in Alabama. Another shutdown corner, a little bit slender frame, but really plays physical, get into your body, can stretch that shrink that your release zone, stay on the ball, really good playing the ball, a lot of deflections. So you know he's going to be able to play opposite of a veteran corner on the other side of the field. Learn from him. He's a Saint, very physical, like I said, and going to be getting after the ball, put the hat in the ball, and just try to do his thing as a rookie. And I believe he's going to be a really high level rookie in the game for the Saints.
Three. For the second round for steals, I had Kingsley Suamateo. Hopefully, I'm saying his name right. Tackle from BYU going to the Saints. Again, it's a version of how do they get him? How do they keep getting away with this? Um, he's the most athletic tackle in the draft. It's a battle between him and Marius Mims, but I think he's the most athletic tackle in the draft. BYU coaches have been quoted as saying he's faster than their linebackers,
Sheesh.
strongest lineman in the weight room, just an elite athlete that usually doesn't come through BYU. But he's going to the Saints. Great developmental organization. Going to be slotted beside Trey Smith if they keep him at right tackle. The He isn't the most pro ready, but when his tools and techniques match up with his athleticism, I do believe this guy has a chance to be a top 5 tackle in the entire NFL. So to get that type of value at the end of round number two, and especially for the two-time defending Super Bowl champion Saints, that's a great pickup. That's a steal personified. Who you got as a potential bust in this second round?
Most definitely. I want to harp on your last pick. It sounds like they picked up the next Trent Williams for sure, for sure. If they're like you said, if his talent catches up with his skills catches up with his talent as already a great athlete that he is, that Trent Williams role for the Saints could be, him. Just a great athlete, pushing the ball, being able to run the ball, being able to do whatever they want, really.
Yeah,
Because that kind of athlete on the line changes things for sure, for sure.
yeah.
And then we're on the bust. Let's get to that. Bust here, Ben Sanat, a tight end out of Kansas. Smaller guy, not really great at blocking, really great hands on being able to catch the ball. Not really sure on if he's going to be able to get physical with a lot of these edge rushers or tackles coming off the edge trying to block. Um, like I said, he's a very smaller guy. I believe he's only like 6'1", 6'2", very small
Mm.
frame. It's going to be a very difficult, like I said, to block any of these guys or even keeping things on timing while you're running your routes and probably getting lost in the height of the game when you're trying to get your release as a tight end. It's going to be very difficult uh, with your timing and
Was
with
he
the smaller
selected by
frame that you have. Um, I believe he was the Bills.
Bills? Okay.
Yeah, and then you got to play behind already established tight end there anyway. So That's going to be another thing that you got to deal with.
My potential bust is the roof. Hora, D tackle from Clemson. We know Clemson is an NFL factory, particularly on the defensive line. We've seen greats come out of there, like who I think is going to be a great Brian Brzee and a couple other guys from Clemson, going all the way back to. I just challenged myself in my head to remember his name, and I don't want to mess up his name. But he was Vic Beasley, going back to their defensive linemen from years ago when they began their run of winning national championships. But speaking to that, to me, it was the least impactful. Watching a lot of Clemson games because I'm now a Florida State fan, so I watch a lot of ACC football. Unfortunately, I like pain and torture, and apparently lower level football. But anyways, I watched a lot of this guy. He didn't really stand out to me, and I think there were, quite frankly, better players at his position still on the board, including who got selected right after him in Jerzon Newton. And I also think underrated pick was Mike Hall Jr. from Ohio State. I think they're going to be great pass rushers in the NFL and ultimately provide a bigger impact than Rook or Hora. So moving on to the third round, who would you have as a potential steal, my boy?
Third round, man. Jets stand up, man. Um, Malachi Corley, wide receiver out of Western Kentucky. This is a gadget guy, speed. We needed to pick up another receiver, fill all of our slots that we need. Like I said, we have Garrett Wilson, we got Mike Williams. We can put Alan Lazard into a slot now, or be able to do different things with him. But now we're getting Malachi Corley, we'll be able to change the game, be able to change different sets, different formations. He's a very, very speedy guy. Within his last few seasons, he has about 1,600 yards, very explosive, be able to blow the top on defenders and just change the game for Aaron Rodgers. I believe he's going to be a big, sneaky asset to the Jets. And let's go.
I want to see what he does. Yak King is what they call Malachi Corley. I want to see what he does if he's going to have the opportunity to start because he's going to have to battle with Isaiah Gibson for that
Yeah.
slot receiver role. And Garrett Wilson plays a lot in the slot too. That's why I got him on my man roster. That's probably a mistake. We don't be doing much.
Yeah. Yeah.
But
You might want to change that.
yeah, I be thinking that's where it's best to get him opportunities. But I think I was overthinking it because I don't know. I just don't be seeing him open like that.
Sheesh.
I had is Peyton Wilson, linebacker from NC State. Again, watch a lot of NC State, watch a lot of ACC football. He shows up every game. Ran a 4.43 at the combine. Fast linebacker, sideline to sideline. Is great in run support and in coverage. Shows great instincts. I actually expect him to make a few Pro Bowls and go into a great developmental organization like the Steelers. Um, I think that's an excellent spot for him. Who you have as a potential bust in the third round?
Potential bust. I got that boy, Jonah Ellis, linebacker going to the Broncos. They picked him up. He's on the smaller side. He's only about 6'2". Um, Not really a great speed guy. Can't really cover that well. It's going to be very difficult trying to stretch the field as a slower linebacker in the NFL. You're already going to a pretty depleted organization in the Dallas Broncos, so it's going to be very difficult first couple years for you, man. It's going to be very tough to see what you can do guarding these elite tight ends, running backs, and you're not that fast. You score very low on a lot of your combine events. Not really that fast in your 40 time. Splits are very slow, and it's going to be very difficult for you, man. I don't really know if you're going to make this 3-man roster.
I actually like Dylan Evans. We gonna see. I didn't see his performance and his test performances, so that's another factor in it. Um, I picked for my potential bust, Marshawn Lloyd, going to the Packers. So obviously, it's going to be a situation where he sits behind Josh Jacobs. Didn't think he found the hole very well at USC, um, but he is a I think he's a good athlete, a very good athlete. I don't think he's going to be one of the best athletes at the running back position, but I think he's a good athlete overall. Didn't really show much as a receiver, so that limits his potential to get on the field as a third down back because we know they're going to ride with Josh Jacobs on first and second down and probably third down as well. Josh Jacobs is one of the best backs in the NFL. But I had Marshawn Lloyd, man. I want to see how he develops over the coming years, sitting behind again one of the best backs in the league. So moving on to the fourth round, who do you have as a potential steal?
Potential still fourth round. Ravens, man, they got a personified Raven. When you think of like those old school players like Ed Reed, um, you know, Ray Lewis, hard hitters, uh, TJ Tampa from Iowa State is that kind of player. With the also addition of Nate Wiggins, their defensive back room is loaded. TJ Tampa, 44 tackles, 2 interceptions, 7 deflections. He gets over the field. He stays glued to his man. He has great hips, great hands. He's all over the ball, and he stays in phase. He plays the game the way it needs to be played, and unless there's a play need to be made. And I feel like that's the kind of player, and he's going to be going against those third round, not third round guys, those third depth chart guys, slot guys, keeping up with them, maybe in those third down plays. Very physical cornerback, and he's a Raven, man. It's gonna be a great pickup for them in their defense.
I'm interested to see how he plays out with them also picking Nate Wiggins in the first, how much PT he gets. But I know you've been really high on him, so I'm interested in seeing um, how it
Yeah,
works out
he's
for
great.
him.
He's a really great young talent, man. I feel like they can make it work with him, Nate Wiggins, and having Marlon Humphreys on the other side. Obviously, he's the vet. He's number one. He's going to be the one getting all the number one matchups. But Nate Wiggins, great, great. I'm high on him as well. That guy is speedy. But
Mm-hmm.
Tampa, I feel like he's going to be one of those guys that come in and just be the energy guy, that definitely energy guy that brings it in, who comes in, he's gonna make a play, and that's what you need, especially on that Ravens defense, especially with them losing the way they did last year. And hey, they're gonna step up on defense at least.
For sure. On offense too, the Ravens are dangerous,
Almost definitely.
and they know how to draft. Um,
Facts.
I had Jatavian Sanders, tight end from Texas. I think he's going to be better in the pros than he was in college. Went to the Carolina Panthers. I think he's going to be probably top three in target shares for Bryce Young, along with their first round receiver, Xavier Leggett. And I think it's Adam Humphries was their number one receiver last year. So forgive me if I'm messing up his name, but Jatavian Sanders, great athletic tight end, was in a crowded target share at Texas. We had Adonai Mitchell, Xavier Worthy. I think Jordan Whittingham was their slot receiver. So he was down the chart as far as who they were trying to get the ball to. Even Jonathan Brooks coming out of the backfield. But I think he's going to be a big target for Bryce Young from that tight end position. Who'd you have as potential bust in the fourth round?
Potential bust fourth round. I mean, I'm an offensive guy. Like I look at a lot of these offensive players. AJ Banner coming in as tight end out of Michigan. He got drafted by the Seattle Seahawks. Big frame, 6'6", 251. Great blocker. Not really the best hands guy, route runner. Gonna be mostly on that line for those block protections, man. He's not gonna really get to show his talent in the receiving game unless he slims down a little bit and get a little bit more, at least better timing on his route running. to be at least somewhat serviceable in the passing game. But I can only really see him mostly being used in that run packages for Kenneth Walker and be able to help with the running game, really. Don't really see him making that impact for Geno Smith in the receiving game.
Sure. Potential bust was Bucky Irving, running back from Oregon. I just wasn't overly impressed with him with that offensive line and receiver packages that they have down. Um, didn't have the best 40 time, so he's small but not fast. His number one move was the juke. You ain't gonna be able to be as much of a joystick at the NFL level as you were in college. The athletes, all of them are elite. We saw something similar with D'Anthony Thomas, who was a superstar in college. Probably
Yeah,
one of the, if not him and Reggie Bush and a couple more are in there. Barry Sanders as the best running backs we've ever seen at the college level. Got to the
yeah,
NFL level, and D'Anthony Thomas unfortunately didn't have the same type of career. And Bucky Irvin was not D'Anthony Thomas in college. They just went to the same college, and their play styles are a little similar, but we know D'Anthony Thomas again was one of the best we've ever seen. He's going to the Buccaneers. They had some trouble on the offensive line. I do like that they pick up Graham Barton to help out on that offensive line, but I still think they're going to need some help. And ultimately, I just don't think that he's going to end up getting the amount of touches and impact that would warrant a roster spot in a few years. Um, but we'll have to see how that plays out. We are in the fourth round, going on the fifth round. So most of these guys, if you have high athletic traits that can be developed, or we can see you as a core special teamer. So keep that in mind. In the fifth round, who do you have as a steal, Byron? Potential steal.
fifth round still, man. Jets stand up again, man. I love the pick that they. I love the draft. This draft that they had. Draft showing that the organization is maturing and actually picking for the future and development compared to trying to pick players right now and hitting and busting and not really being able to pick the right players. But these last few drafts, we've been doing phenomenal. Uh, Round five, we picked up a quarterback in Jordan Travis out of FSU. Wonderful quarterback. He's been there general for many years. His last season, 2,700 yards, 20 touchdowns to two pick ratio, which is wonderful. He'll be able to come in behind Aaron Rodgers, develop, actually learn from one of the greatest throwers of the ball, work on his. He's a great timely passer already. Work on a lot more of his skills, and just like I said, learn from Aaron Rodgers. Who wouldn't want to have that kind of development? I mean, we see what happened with Jordan Love in Green Bay. If we can get that same kind of production and learning from him, like with Jordan Travis, who knows what the Jets' future is going to look like. I'm actually excited about this pick. We're not going into the season depleted at the quarterback position, and our quarterback room is looking at least a B plus, and I'm rocking with that.
Um, for fifth round, go with Jeremiah Trotter Jr. Obviously, his dad is the legendary Jeremiah Trotter, went to a great organization in the Eagles. Isn't going to have to play right away, but I think he has a chance to get on the field right away, at least on first and second downs, because he's a great run defender. Has some deficiencies in coverage. Came from that Clemson pipeline. Give me 1 second. All right. Um, okay. So yeah, Jeremiah Trotter Jr. was my steal of the fifth round. Real quick, my bust of the fifth round would be Spencer Rattler, quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. Um, I just don't think he's in the best situation to succeed. He has some good receivers, but the Saints need help along that offensive line. They got a good pick in the first round, who was a steal, but I'm not 100% sold on Dennis Allen as a coach. And honestly, I just think Spencer Rattler is overrated. I don't think he has the best arm. I don't think he has the best leadership abilities. Um, and just seeing that from the outside looking in due to shows he's been on and all that type of stuff, and I've never seen him really win a big game. I take that back. Against Clemson, he did win against Clemson. That was a big game. But in most of the other big games against the Bamas, Georgias of the world, the talent level is different for South Carolina. But if you're the super hype quarterback who was once number one overall thought about quarterback in the country, then I expect you to be able to elevate your team to a certain level. So I'm gonna have to go with Spencer Rattler as a potential bust.
Oh man, no, same here. We actually have the same pick as a potential bust here. Spencer Rattler. Been watching him since QB1. He doesn't have that leadership quality that it looks like you need to be a leader amongst men. Uh, that attitude kind of works in high school, maybe can work in college, but once you're with those men amongst men, those that kind of bratty attitude, poor leadership, diva qualities as the leader of the team won't work. Especially as the Saints, that's an organization that is not built for any of those kind of traits. You have to be very tough nosed, very disciplined, and very by the book. You're not bigger than the organization at the Saints. They won a championship. They're very personified already, and he doesn't bring those very great leadership qualities. I mean, he went to Oklahoma as their starter. Caleb Williams came in, was clearly the better quarterback, took his position there. Uh, Ended up transferring to South Carolina, played there. Like Brodrick said, a lot of big games that he played in, besides maybe the Clemson game. He's not a winner. He can't elevate his team enough to win. He can't make it the right plays to win. And he's very on the smaller side. I don't believe he's 6 feet. I believe that's what it says on the combine scores. Very undersized, and it's going to be very tough for him in the league once he gets a couple of those good hits in. You got to ask Bryce Young. It was a very long season for him.
Um, Real quick, I gotta run and do something, so I'm gonna stop the recording real quick, and I'm gonna edit this part out right here.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll be right back, dude. All right, so we're on round 6 for potential steals. Who did you have, Byron?
Round 6 potential steals. I got Malik Washington out of Virginia, 5'9", ran a 4.4 speedy guy going down to Miami. Already, I deemed him a track team. I mean, you got Tyreek Hill, Waddle. I mean, Morris there at the backfield. Everybody just screams speed, speed kills, and what they're doing down there in Miami is just different. With Mike's coaching, I believe this receiver is going to be able to come in and just be able to be that gadget guy for them as well, and just change the game and just get him the ball, get the ball in his hands, and let him make plays.
I really like Malik Washington, one of the best receivers in the ACC. Um, like Byron said, went to Virginia. Definitely see him as a steal in this draft. Had to get a little better at route running and being more
Yeah.
physical at the catch point. But obviously, he's going to face a lot of one-on-one coverage with Tyreek
Mm-hmm.
Hill, Jaden Waddle. I'm not sure if Robbie Chosen is still there, but either way, a great pickup by the Dolphins to add to
Definitely.
the United States track team they got.
Bro, crazy.
From us, Johnny Wilson. My bad. Johnny Wilson went to the Philadelphia Eagles.
There you
Six
go.
seven, 235 pounds, ran a 4.51 at the NFL draft, which I thought was going to raise his stock, honestly. I thought Johnny Wilson would go no later. I thought he was going to go in the third round. With that time, before he ran that time, he was projected to go around what he ultimately went, which was the 6th round here. Gonna learn a lot from AJ Brown, Devontae Smith. Um, has position versatility to move those guys around now because he's going to be out wide, but he also plays some in the slot at Florida State. Dominant run blocker. I mean, he, bigger than a lot of tight ends but he's a dominant run blocker. Just overall does a lot of things well, man. You go back and watch the tape, his biggest deficiency was, I mean, what's his most important thing as a receiver is catching the ball. Had a lot of drops and some
Right.
drops in big moments, but also made some heroic game-winning catches. He just got to live at the jug machine, man. Living at the jug machine and practicing his concentration. And this is a skill he can get better at, but like it's boom or bust with Johnny Wilson. Either he's gonna be the next Mike Evans, or he can be the next Mac Hollins, who's not a bad receiver, but he not one of the elite receivers in the NFL. So I got Johnny Wilson here, who you had as potential bust in the sixth round.
Potential bust in the 6th round. I got Daquan Hardy out of Penn State. Smaller DB, 5'9", only 182 pounds. Littler guy, like I said, they lost Tre'Davious White. I mean, the Bills just lost a lot of their secondary, a lot of their glue guys, their veterans. He's going to be coming in and be put in the position right away to face a lot of high level talent. Put in that position to be those facing, like I said, a lot of the high level talent, and then seeing what he'll be able to do. I mean, you weren't even one of the best guys on your own team at Penn State. Didn't score very well in the combine, and like I said, on the smaller side, especially with a lot of these receivers getting bigger and bigger in the 6'3", 6'4", 6'5" range, being very physical. It's going to be very difficult for you to block a lot of the get any pass deflections at the high point of the ball in the catch radius. And like I said, you're on the smaller side, so it's going to be very, very tough.
My potential bust for the sixth round was Joe Milton, the third quarterback from Tennessee. Obviously, going to the Patriots, Drake May is going to be the starter. Him and Jacoby Brissett are going to battle it out. But I think those is going to be the first two options, regardless of how interchangeable those two are. Joe Milton, maybe he was selected to be on the practice squad, but that's why I say potential bust. He's not going to get a chance to play. Which is unfortunate. He has a cannon for an arm, is a really good athlete at the quarterback position. Maybe they look to change his position because of his athleticism. Maybe they see him as a potential tight end. But that's an unfortunate situation for a quarterback to be in when you're not going to have a chance to play in the game. I think they allow 3 quarterbacks to travel now on the active roster, but I doubt they'll have Joe Milton travel with the team considering I don't know if they still have Bailey Zapp. Patriots fans, get in the comments. Let me know if y'all still have Bailey Zapp on the team. So that'll be Bailey Zapp, Jacoby Brissett, and Drake May. I just don't think he's going to have much of a chance to do anything. And ultimately, that's going to have him looking like he's a bust. Maybe he can go to another situation and get more opportunity. But I think it was a wasted pick by the Patriots at this point. Maybe they were trying to go to Kirk Cousins' RG3 route. But still, I just don't see it. And I think it's an unfortunate situation for him, especially when he doesn't have great weapons to hand the ball off to or throw to or really blocking for him. The Patriots are more of a mess than what people think. And as a Jets fan, I'm ecstatic about that. But
Yeah.
moving on to the final round, the 7th round, you had a potential steal for that 7th round.
Yes, sir. Patriots keep making bad picks. Um, Jets stand up once again, Mr. Irrelevant. Last pick in the draft, Mr. Irrelevant, Jalen Key, safety out of Alabama. He's just a dog, gets after the ball, personified run stopper. You're going to bring him down in that strong safety position. Amongst our already great young talent that we have on the Jets defense, we just improve more and more. I believe I love our rotation game that we play. Keep a lot of guys in fresh, keep a man go 1, 2, 3 plays, get another guy in, fresh legs, kind of keep that pressure on the offense. And Jalen Key is going to be one of those guys that are highly in our rotation, get a good amount of snaps. And like I said, he's going to be a game changer, I believe, even at the
Mm.
last pick in the draft. And like I said, you can get a DB from Nick Saban's tree. You got a personified dog.
I don't know if I can go there with you, man. Like I just seen because he was heavily considering going to Florida State. He's from Tallahassee, and he
Mm-hmm.
ended up getting that Bama offer, and it was just like, hey, I'm going to Bama. And I get it. You're getting coached by Nick Saban, the GOAT in college, so I get it. Man, if he's getting snaps in the Jets rotation, man, I'd be a little scared. That's all I'm saying. Hopefully he don't.
Hey,
I'd be maybe in a couple, maybe in like 2 or 3 years, but I'd be a little scared. But I get what you're saying. Seventh round value. I do think he's going to be a core special teamer for us, which is valuable. Like if you play special
yeah,
teams, that doesn't mean you trash. Like there's people that's going to be wearing gold jackets for specifically playing special teams at a high level, and you still getting millions of dollars to do it with
most
less
definitely.
wear and tear on your body. So special teams is important. It's one of the three phases of the game. Um, my potential steal was Matt Lee, center from Miami. Um, Obviously played for the Ops, but was a great center. I believe he made first team All ACC. Could have been an All American. He was that talented, famous for the meme. As far as when they lost to Georgia Tech, when he said, "Man, what the are we doing?" I love him for giving me that moment for the rest of my life and the rest of his life because a lot of times I watch the team that he played for, the Miami Hurricanes, and I think the same thing and I hope that continues on. It brings me great delight. Honestly, it does. Um, but I think he's going to be a potential starter in the league to protect the the middle for Joe Burrow. I honestly think he has the potential to be a top 10 center in the league, and we'll see how it plays out. He's going to have his opportunities on that offensive line. Who'd you have as a? Well, I can just say mine real quick. My bust that I had for the final round was Jaden Davis. It didn't feel good giving praise to a Miami player, so I had to take a crap on another one. But in all reality, in all seriousness, I don't see how Jaden Davis should get selected before Kalen King, cornerback from Penn State, who's been a premier player for the past 2 years. I'm surprised Kalen King lasted to the seventh round. Maybe there's something we don't know about as far as the medicals and things like that that didn't check out. Um, but Jaden Davis honestly wasn't impressed just watching him at all this year. I think the best DB on this team, honestly, was a freshman and Damari. I'm forgetting his name, but his first name is Damari Brown. True freshman. I think he's the best DB on the team. And it wasn't like Damari Brown was Derek Stingley, Jalen Ramsey, or any of those type. Joey Porter. It wasn't like he was like one of those guys. Their secondary is actually pretty terrible outside of Damari, who was, he's a decent cornerback in the ACC. I don't think Jaden was that. And I'd be surprised if he made a 53-man roster. I expect him to bounce around the practice squad. But black man to black man, I do hope he finds some success and all that type of stuff. But I just don't see it. Who you had as a bust in the seventh round, potential bust?
Potential bust. I got Nick Gargilo, center out of South Carolina. Not really high on the Broncos. They haven't really been making a lot of picks, hitting on their a lot of picks the last few seasons here. Their organization, even due with the new change that they have with the big Walmart guys that just took over the organization, they haven't even been doing anything pretty to proceed the team to be any better. They haven't really been picking a lot of great offensive linemen due to Russell Wilson being sacked a lot last year and the previous quarterbacks as well, especially with them picking up Bo Nix. I don't think this gentleman here held a lot in college, trying to stay up with a lot of the peers there, and now the talent is even more better with those D tackles on the interior. I think they're just gonna bull rush him, bomb rush him, and just get through. And Bo Nix is gonna have a very, very sad year behind it. Uh, I mean, I don't even know if this guy's gonna even make the roster, being picked in the seventh round.
All right. So there we go. Let us know how y'all feel about our steals and busts. The next segment, we're gonna talk about. Let's go with quarterbacks set up in the best situation. Which quarterback do you think was set up in the best situation?
My quarterback that's set up in the best situation, who I believe is going to have a really, really great year, is JJ McCarthy. JJ McCarthy drafted to the Vikings, set up with a wonderful, wonderful supporting cast on the offensive end. Last year with Kirk Cousins, Kirk Chains, the many, many names, however you want to call Brody. Uh, they had a top 10 offensive line, won 10 plus games with this rookie coming in. He's a great thrower of the ball, pretty great accuracy, won the championship with Michigan the previous year in the college football league. Now you're coming in with a great, like I said, top 10 offensive line. You have Justin Jefferson as your number one wide receiver, who's one of the top receivers in this league, in the NFL league. You have who else you have as the best safety net to throw to? Wonderful tight end game. I believe you're just set up for at least a decent 4,000-yard throwing. You can get into
Mm.
that top 20, I say about mid to top 20s as touchdowns and keep those interceptions at a decent rate. We all know rookies have a hard time adjusting to the game. You might see it a little different. You can keep them in that 5 to 8 range. I feel like you can have a really, really great rookie year.
Yeah, I agree with that. I honestly think that you're 100% correct. That's the best situation for him to be in. Jordan Jefferson, Justin Jefferson, Jordan Addison, T.J.
Mm-hmm.
Hawkinson at the tight end, Christian Dellishaw on that offensive line, along with other great offensive linemen there, like you said, top 10, and Kevin O'Connell at the head coaching position. Great coaching staff. Um,
Definitely.
he's just gonna have to be a game manager. They could probably get better at running back, but he's gonna have to be a
Definitely.
game manager, and I think that's the best situation for JJ McCarthy. He's really young still, so he has time to develop. I think he's only 21. Could be he's
Mm-hmm.
anywhere from 21 to 23, but he's a young prospect. So we're gonna have to see proven championship medals. So I agree with you. That's the best situation. But for mine, I'm gonna have to go with the Chicago Bears selecting Caleb Williams number 1 overall. Is gonna
Yep.
get to throw to number 9 overall pick Rome Odunze, Keenan
Mm-hmm.
Allen. This is gonna be a great mentor for Rome Odunze, and DJ Moore, one of the best wide receivers in the entire NFL. Offensive line could definitely use some improvement. I love the pick of Wright last year at offensive tackle. Um, I can't remember I think it was Jenkins they have at left tackle or left guard. So they got a few pieces on that offensive line, but there's still some improvement needed there. And then Cole Kmet, one of the best tight ends in the league, great gadget player.
Definitely. I like
Um,
him.
and there's DeAndre Swift. DeAndre Smith and Deontay Foreman is still there. So he has great running backs to hand the ball off to. Explosive running backs. We're gonna see what they want to do, whether they're gonna be explosive offense, if they're not gonna like put too much on them. I do think they're gonna have to because I think the Bears are gonna be in a lot of shootouts. And then bold take, I think the Bears are going make the playoffs next year. I think they're in a tough
Definitely.
division, but I think Caleb Williams is the type of quarterback that can elevate a team to higher expectations than what even their fan base has. Um, when you look at things like they play in a tough division, I think they got 4 guaranteed losses. I don't think they're better than the Detroit Lions. And I don't think they're better than the Green Bay Packers. Um, who else is in that division? I believe it's Minnesota. Forgive me if I'm wrong about that, but I do believe it's Minnesota. And I think those are going to be tough games. We're going to see two of the better young quarterback prospects go at it. But Caleb Williams, a lot of people like to compare him to Patrick Mahomes. I said this, way back when I was doing 37 Inning podcast by myself before, you know, we incorporated my incredible co-hosts, Byron and Khalil. Um, I have a video talking about USC Trojans, my schedule prediction, and I took away the Patrick Mahomes comparison and I made a prime Russell Wilson comparison instead because he's an
Like that
improviser. He
one.
makes stuff happen on the run. As far as he throws, he runs to throw. He runs to run, but he also runs to throw. And he's really magical at running to throw. Um, and that's what prime Russell Wilson did when he won those championships or championship. Should have been championship. Should have gave Marshawn Lynch the ball on the goal line. But
Oh,
I digress. Um,
it definitely got fired.
yeah. But at the end of the day, I think Caleb Williams is set up in a great position to have success. They already done way more for him than they ever did for Justin Fields, and that I'll say this: administrative group, the people that make the decisions, that front office, they know that they have to get this right because they've been missing recent quarterback picks in Mitchell Trubisky in 2017 or 2018, and then Justin Fields. You just can't keep failing these young quarterbacks. Do everything you can to allow them to succeed, especially when you've got them on a rookie contract. And again, the defense is
Yeah.
incredible. I love some pieces they have, Montez Sweat and Jalen Johnson, but you gotta there's still a lot of work to do there. Tremaine Edmonds, too, on the linebacker core, but you still have some work to do there. And we're going to say at that plate, Tariq Stevenson, even though he's a former Miami Hurricane, was a great second-round pick last year. But we're going to have to see, man. He's set up in a good position, tough division, but I expect him to make the playoffs. You heard it here first. If y'all disagree, get in the comments. Tell us y'all thoughts on the video. Like, comment, subscribe to the channel, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Join
We
that
got
30-12 inning game, man. For sure, for sure. But yeah,
so
Green Bay, yeah, you were correct, man. The Packers, Minnesota, Atlanta, Washington Commanders, and Detroit Lions. They have a very, very tough division. But me as well, I believe I'll join that hot take. I definitely believe that the Bears are going to make the playoffs. They don't have a very high bar to reach. I mean, they almost made the playoffs with Justin Fields, won 6, 7 games. I mean, with Caleb Williams, I believe with his talent, he's at least 3 to 4 more games better than the previous quarterback in Justin Fields. Now you bring that with the new talent that you
I ain't
have.
expect him to say that, y'all. I ain't gonna lie. I ain't
Hey,
expect him
I
to
mean,
say that.
I
He's a
and I'm
Justin
still
Fields lover.
and I still am a Justin Fields fan. I feel like but I am a USC guy.
Yeah.
I'm not high on Caleb. I love Caleb. I really am. I really want him to have a best career. I didn't like him at USC just because of the diva stuff, but quarterback wise, he is a great quarterback. I love him as a quarterback. I love what he can bring to the game. Like Brodrick said, he's a great off script quarterback. You bring that script to his game and elevate it to a new level. With what he can already do off script, he's just going to be a personified great quarterback in this game. And we got to see what his career turns out to be. I believe that they can at least win 10 to possibly 11 games and be in that wild card.
Yo,
You froze, bro. There you go.
yeah, you go ahead. Um, I will say, well, let me ask you this question because you said something and it kind of piqued my interest. What ceiling do you
There,
think?
there you
Yeah,
go.
that's me. What ceiling do you think Caleb Williams has? Like, where do you think that if he reaches this ceiling, he would rank as far as quarterbacks in the NFL?
I mean, we still got Patrick Mahomes for another at least
10
7 to
years?
10 years.
Yeah.
We got Joe Burrow for about 10, 12 years. Oh man, we're
Lamar
pretty
Jackson?
blessed in this quarterback game. I ain't gonna lie. In our era, we're pretty blessed. I mean, especially now with the talent getting even better. I I believe he can definitely be a top 10 quarterback for sure. I don't see on the back end, I don't see five guys better than him. On the back end of the top 10, I don't see five guys better than him. That once he actually develops within these next 2 to 3 years, I can see him as a top 10 guy.
Top 10.
Top 10 for sure. I mean, we like I said, you got Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow. This is my at least top five for me personally. We got Patrick Mahomes, we got Joe Burrow, we got Lamar Jackson,
Mhm.
Josh Allen, and then I love Justin Herbert, man. I've always loved Justin. You can take me back. You C can quote me on this. Khalil can quote me on this. Our other wonderful co-host. I'm big on Justin Herbert ever since he came in from Oregon. I love him. He actually just hasn't really proven a lot of things lately, but I really like his talent. I believe he's going to finally get over that hump. Didn't do any justice getting him any weapons, but I believe he's going to be that level of guy. And then I mean, from there, that next five, you can take your pick. A lot of the older guys still are in there, but I feel like Caleb Williams is definitely going to be top 10.
Yeah. If I list mine too, I would say all those names too, all the names you just mentioned. But I do think he has I think he has a similar ceiling to the top guys on that list, especially Joe Burrow. I'm not saying they're the same type of player, but Joe Burrow is an MVP caliber player. I think Caleb, um, after maybe 2 years, is going to be on that same similar level. I think he's going to be one of the best quarterbacks in the league. I would say top six quarterback in the league, and I think he has a chance. I don't know
I
if he's
like
gonna.
that.
I don't know if he's gonna. I think he has an opportunity if he gets in, learns the playbook, becomes a better leader. I honestly think he has the ability to be the second best quarterback in the NFL. I don't think he's
Okay.
going to surpass Patrick.
Sheesh.
Patrick Mahomes
Second?
is, yeah, I think he has the ability to become the second. Like just off of
That's tough.
if he reaches his ceiling, talent level, and stuff
Okay.
like that, I think he has a chance because he has a strong arm. He
Mm-hmm.
knows how to read defenses. Honestly, his failures at USC weren't really his failures; they were really on the defense. To be quite frank, but you know, I'm just very impressed by what I see. Even though a lot of his improvising, maybe those things could turn into interceptions. I do think he's going to have a more interceptions than what we might think coming into his rookie year. Wherever we want to put that, if we want to put the over under at, um, let's say 6.5, I do think
Mm.
I would pick the over on his rookie
Josh
year
Allen
because I
type
think
season.
what happened.
I said Josh Allen type season.
Hey, that's the MVP level type season. If he can have that
Yeah,
rookie year, that'd be awesome. Where would you put the over
throw a
under?
lot of court touchdowns, throw a lot of picks.
Yeah, if the over under was at 6.5 interceptions, where would you go on that for Caleb Williams?
With the way he plays, I'm gonna go over. I'm gonna go over on that. With the way he
Yeah,
plays, I can
yeah,
see him getting about 8 picks at least. 8 picks at the minimum. At the minimum.
at the minimum.
At the
Hey,
minimum.
maybe
Because I
17
like I
game
like the way he
season.
plays, but he's gonna be
Yeah,
throwing that thing. He's gonna be
yeah,
throwing that thing. He's the number one quarterback. He's supposed to be generational talent. I
yeah,
believe he's gonna be throwing that thing a lot, at least
yeah,
above the 60 to 65 percentile. He's gonna be slinging that thing.
yeah, yeah. He gonna have to. They're gonna be in shootouts.
Yeah,
But our final segment is how we feel our best team, our favorite team did. And just to clarify, we're both diehard Jets fans, both love the New York Jets. That is both our teams. But for the sake of contrast, Byron is gonna go with the Jets, and I'm gonna do the hometown team, Jacksonville Jaguars. So you go. How you feel about what the Jets did in the draft?
I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it. Jets stand up. All Jet Nation. I believe we've been on our grown man stuff in the organization these last couple of drafts. I mean, we've been picking up Quentin Williams. We got Garrett Wilson. I mean, we just been hitting and hitting and hitting, and now our got Sauce Gardner. I
I don't
mean,
love
come on, man.
McDonald. I don't love McDonald last year, but yeah, my bad. I cut you off.
I feel like he's going. No, you good. You good. I feel like he isn't the best speedster guy, but I feel like he can block up that interior, and he's going to get a lot better with getting a lot more talent, a lot more opportunity this year with the departure of a lot of our with departure of Franklin,
Yeah,
Huff, all those guys leaving,
yeah,
and then now we got a lot of younger talent on that
yeah,
defensive line.
yeah.
But Jets, man, I mean, we picked up a wonderful, wonderful pick. I mean, it was in many mock drafts. I believe it was in our mock draft of picking up Brock Bowers with that not number one pick, round one pick. But we picked up for Shanu, a tackle out of Penn State that just shows growth in our organization, making smart decisions, being able to block for Aaron Rodgers, keeping him up. That's going to be something big that we want this year. We don't need 4 plays, and this man is out for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
I mean, we did make better decisions in our quarterback room, picking up Tyrod Taylor and also having a wonderful pick in Jordan Travis that we picked up. Well, hopefully we can have him develop behind Aaron Rodgers, keeping him safe with our tackles. We picked up a wonderful guard in Tyron Smith, another guard, not tackle in Tyron Smith, another guard from that we traded for from the Ravens.
Jordan
Got a lot
Moses.
of Jordan Moses. Got rid of a lot of the lackluster players like Tomlinson. I'm not a big fan of him. I'm glad he is gone. He is not I don't know what he's going to be. I'm just glad he's not on our team anymore.
We got rid of Becton too. Makai Becton.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of him either. He stays
Yeah,
injured.
yeah,
He's a diva. He's a great player when he wants to play, but he doesn't want to play for us. I can see it in his eyes. I'm glad he's gone.
went to the
I
Eagles.
want guys,
Yeah,
and I'm glad he's gone over there. He's not going to be playing for them as well. I want guys that want to play for the big green. You
yeah,
wear that green, I want to win. I believe this is our best opportunity in these next few years to win a championship, and I
yeah.
want the Jets to be flying high. We got Aaron Rodgers. We picked up a lot of great pieces. Like I said, we got a backup quarterback, got wonderful glue guys. Just picked up a lot of dogs. Like I said, we play a
Mhm.
rotational game, so we keep everybody fresh with the young pieces that we have. A beautiful offensive line now. We get a couple more pieces,
Mm,
fill a couple more of those holes.
yeah,
I feel like we do got a couple more holes on our right tackle side, on
yeah,
our right guard side.
yeah,
A young talented center that we already have. Now
mm,
him getting an extra year getting that year under his belt as
yeah,
not after his rookie year, he's gonna get even better with a vet like Tyron Smith now also on that offensive line to learn from him. I feel like we're gonna do wonderful things this year, man. I believe, hey, if all things goes right and everybody stays healthy, 2024 Jets champion, man. Let's go. 2024, 2025 Jets champions.
You heard it here first. Jets
Let's get it.
champions. I don't know now. Getting
Hey,
past the Chiefs.
I'm
I
standing
don't
up
know.
on
We
it. We
ready.
standing on it. We standing
I
on
feel
it.
you. I'm praying for that outcome as a Jets fan.
Are we
But
turning up out here in Colorado?
for, for real, and in Florida, 2 Florida guys, but fell in love with the
Yeah.
Jets.
Yes,
Um,
sir.
and the team. I'm a diehard Jets fan, but living in Jacksonville, being Jacksonville native for the past few years, you know, I have a following of everybody else. They talk about the Jaguars when they're playing. That's the big game on TV, if you can believe it or not. Um, People really love it. If you got a team in your city, like even if you come from somebody else and you're a transplant, around you are going to root for that team. So I got to know a lot about the Jags. Going into the draft, we needed cornerback, offensive line, and defensive line help. Just a little bit about each pick here. The first round, Brian Thomas Jr. The Jags did pick up Gabriel Davis and already have Christian Kirk, um, resident Christian Kirk hater here. But Brian Thomas Jr., speedster,
I
a
like
great
him.
X receiver or wide receiver. Yeah, X or wide receiver. Gonna play beside Gabriel Davis. Not the most talented receiver court, but I think he's a huge upgrade and has a chance to grow into um I'm not gonna say elite number one, but I think he can be a lower end number one receiver, which we kind of need because I think Gabe is an established number two, him and
Better
Christian
than
Kirk.
Kurt.
So I'm ready to see what Trevor Lawrence does with his new weapon. He's big, approaching 6'4", over 200 pounds, ran a 4.33 at the NFL Combine. So big and
Nice.
fast, a decent route runner. Um,
I like him.
Obviously, Monique Labors took a lot of the coverage away, him and Kyron Lacey. To have Brian Thomas flourish along with Davis, Jaden Daniels throwing them the ball. Um, so I like that pickup in the first round. Ashawn Smith was a great boomer bust potential, another LSU player, defensive tackle, um, 6'5", 306, extremely athletic, former five-star player, former top five overall player in the country coming out of high school. Faced a lot of injuries in Baton Rouge that hindered his play, was even out for the season, his second year when he was expected to be an All-American. I still think he's recovering from that injury, but by the time training camp comes by, I expect him to be healthy, and they needed help on that interior. And I honestly think if he reaches his potential, just by his athletic traits, he has a ceiling to be a top 10, top 15 defensive tackle in the entire NFL with his combination of athletic traits. Third round, Jerry and Jones, obviously. I'm a diehard Nole. That's my favorite team overall in any sport. I got to see a lot of Jerry and Jones. Started off his career very rough after transferring in from Mississippi State. Actually, one of them booted off the team. I ain't even gonna lie. I was very much a Jerry and Jones hater. I didn't, man, dude was trash. His last
Yeah,
2 years, including his last year, he became arguably the best slot corner in the entire country. The development at Florida State is crazy, especially I think Patrick Surtain Sr., our new DB coach from last year, had a lot to do with that, as well as Coach Adam Fuller. Um, had a 91 grade on PFF, which is absolutely elite. Um,
yeah.
and I expect him to get a lot of PT in the secondary. I actually expect him to start. I'm very happy for my boy Jerry and Jones, and he's the epitome of development and just showing that you can start off rough and still have an excellent situation come about through hard work and dedication to your craft. So shout you out, Jerry and Jones, and
Most
I'm definitely going
definitely.
to check out a game from this year. Um, we have tackle from Missouri. Don't know much about him.
Can we get that name again? You kind of cut out.
Devon Foster.
Devon Foster.
Yeah, I don't know much about him, so I'm not gonna pretend I do. But they needed help on the offensive line. He's a big dude, athletic, could have better feet, but he's a at this point we're in the fourth round. We're taking swings on athleticism. Maybe he can be good on the field goal teams and things of that nature. But we didn't have the best offensive line, so the brother might start. Who knows? Uh, from LSU. Wasn't impressed when I saw him on the field. I think he's good against the run. Wasn't impressed with his pass rush production. But again, when you get this deep in the draft, you're looking for players that can play a role, and I think he's going to be a good run stopping specialist on first and second down if he gets a chance to play. Plus, he played alongside Mason Smith, so they got a little chemistry there. Back from Ole Miss. Um, Not the biggest guy. Rotational piece might be a good special teamer. Came from the SEC, so he's used to playing against elite talent and elite physicality and great coaching by Lane Kiffin. I know people probably hear Lane Kiffin and great coaching and roll their eyes, but it's undeniable. Lane Kiffin is a great coach. He's just
Yeah, he's
also
a really great coach.
very personable, has a very exuberant personality.
Definitely.
Hey, Lon Robinson, obviously by Jonathan Brooks. I don't know much about him. He's going to be behind Travis Etienne as well, so maybe he can have some capacity on third downs. But I think they're going to keep Etienne in full time. Cam Little,
Yeah,
kicker
Travis
from
Etienne is a
Arkansas.
goated.
Yeah, kicker from Arkansas. Anytime you draft a kicker, you have to be good because you can easily just pick up one on a free agent wire. So they wanted to have dibs on this guy. So obviously he has to be one of the best kickers in the country. And the kicking game from the Jaguars was a mess last year, so I expect him to be the new kicker. And then
Missed a
Miles
lot of
Cole,
extra points, man. A lot of extra points, a lot of field goals.
for sure. Hey,
Crazy.
I hope a lot of extra points. Chill on the field goal. But we need field goals too.
Hey, all the points we
Miles
can get.
Yep. Miles Cole, he's gonna have a chance to learn behind a great defensive line. Well, at least on the edges where we have Josh Allen, one of the best defensive end in the entire NFL, and Trayvon Walker, former #1 overall pick from the Georgia Bulldogs. Um, so they got young talent
Excuse
going
me.
to be able to develop behind them. Maybe help on first and second down, develop his technique, and see where we go from here. Because a lot of times unfortunately, the Jaguars deal with injuries at inopportune times. We've seen this year over year, and that's just that. I mean, the Jaguar division, I think they're in. Jaguar fans, get in the comments, let me know. I'm probably gonna walk out the office. People gonna be like, "Man, how you ain't know this?" Because I'm surrounded by Jaguars fans, but I do think they're in the same division as the Colts,
Mm-hmm.
Texans,
Yes.
Titans, and Jags. Yeah, I'm pretty sure those are the four teams. So obviously they're going to have a chance to be really good again. I do expect the Titans to be vastly improved. I love their pick of Joe Alt at number 5 overall.
Yeah, the
Was that
division, Joe Alt.
no? Yeah.
Joe Alt
Joe
went
Alt,
to
number 5.
yes. Yeah, he went there because we thought he was gonna go to the Chargers. But
Correct,
he didn't.
correct. So
But
Joe
you're
Alt,
right on a lot of those guys. The division for Jaguars, I want to make sure you're right. I'm gonna save face for you so you don't
yeah,
get bombarded by your Jaguar fans.
yeah.
Tampa, Carolina, Tennessee, Cardinal. I'm not Cardinals. Colts and Texans. So yeah, you hit on them. Yeah, you hit on them, man, for sure.
Um, but yeah, man, I expect the Jags, man. If Trevor Lawrence can reach the potential that he has, like people thought that Trevor Lawrence would be the best thing since Peyton Manning. Like that's what they call him.
The Prince.
Like I live
The
in
Prince.
Jacksonville. Like Trevor Lawrence is damn near a god in the city. Like I know somebody,
Duval.
I know somebody who this is quick like random trivia or random info. I know somebody who was supposed to valet park Trevor Lawrence's parents' car, and they gave him a hard time, and they got fired. They
Wow.
got fired because Trevor Lawrence is really a god in the city. Like he can't do no wrong, no matter how the outside world view him. Now I'm a Jacksonville native, but I wasn't born and raised here, so I can have an outside perspective. Trevor Lawrence to me is probably a top 15 quarterback in the NFL, but how people view
Definitely.
him here, he's a top
Number
5
one.
quarterback. So it shows you the different psyches as far as um, fan interest, and especially when they're in your home city. So that's a long way of saying it. I think the Jaguars came out very well in their draft. I think they picked up a couple starters, some key special teamers, and people who have the potential to be starters in the future. And I obviously it's the draft, so they got younger, but I think this allows them to let some of those more expensive veterans go maybe next year in free agency, pick up some comp picks, whether that's in the third or fourth round. And overall, I love what they did in this draft. So, been a great conversation. Episode
Most
53.
definitely.
Um,
53.
will be dropping on Wednesday, so y'all go ahead and check this out. Get in the comments. Let us know how y'all feel about y'all teams and their future, their selections, and things of that nature, man. We appreciate y'all. I'm signing out.
Definitely.